Well, we were a poor family, you know. Your father was the only one that was working, 6 children to be fed. As I say, the radio only came into the house after a long, long time. But if you see kids now, they're on computers, they have televisions in their own rooms, they have bicycles, they have everything they want. We had just barely enough to get by. We just got by with what we had. You sowed your own garden every year. You sowed your own vegetables. You cut your own turf. You made your own hay, and we weren't farmers. We were only a small house, about 1 acre of land at the back of the house, and we worked terrible hard. We worked terrible hard. The kids worked terrible hard that time. Every child worked hard, and the kids goes now to get their holidays to go away out foreign. If we got our holidays, we went to the bog. We had to cut the turf. We had to spread it, foot it, save it, and then we spent the whole rest of the summer holidays bringing it home with 2 asses or 1 ass, an ass and car. And you were lucky if you got 1 week off at the end of the holidays, because you spent your whole time working. And then you had to dig the spuds, you had to dig the potatoes up and to get them out. And you done all the work around the house. Around you cut timber with a saw in as well for the fire. And kids seem to have an awful lot more of pleasure time. They don't do the work that we had to do. We had to work all the time. Everyone worked. And sometimes you'd be in school and you'd be hired out by a farmer to go catch turf for a week. Now, it was hard work, but we used to love it because we got out of school. But when you think of it back now, you were actually giving up your education to go to catch turf for some farmer. And you'd be after working for yourself, your father, you'd be after working the whole time in the bog with your father then as well, you know. And when I was about 14 or 15, myself and the brother, we used to have to cycle 3 miles out to the island. The island now is an area near Ballycumber. And we'd cycle out to the bog, and we'd have to walk another mile down to the bog. And we'd cut turf, I'd cut, and he'd catch and wheel. And we'd walk until 1 o'clock in the day. We'd leave at 1 o'clock and we'd cycle home the 3 miles. We'd get our dinner, and we'd rest for a few minutes. And we went into Goodbody's factory at 3 o'clock, and we worked from 3 o'clock until 10 at night as a shift. And then you go home again, up the next morning, out to the bog again. So like, you know, it was so different. Everybody worked so terrible hard, very little pleasure time. And the only time when you did get a few hours or that, you went out hurling or football or hunting rabbits or something like that. But it was completely different what now. Kids don't work now. They're handed everything, they're given everything, they have everything. There's usually 2 cars in every house. They don't walk anywhere. We walked everywhere. We walked everywhere. I was working one time with DSB, and I cycled from Clara to Belmont, and from Clara to Balnahound, and worked all day digging holes for poles, putting up poles for the rural electrification. And you know, if you ask someone to do that now, they'd probably lock you up. But that's the big difference with now and then, like, you know.
It's interesting because they'd be working a lot more than I would. And I thought like homework was a lot. And like, it kind of feels weird because like, nowadays that would be like horrible. It'd be a nightmare to do that. Like right now we have all this new technology and everything. We have like big houses. We have like robots now. We have televisions that have like a load of channels on them. We have Netflix. We have Switches, we have PlayStations, we have Xboxes, computers, PCs, gaming PCs. Like, we have everything now compared to then. We have, like, teddy bears, we have bathrooms, we have showers, we have, like, 3 devices in the same room. Whereas they would have, like, 1 device in the entire house. And, like, you know, comparing these differences, it just feels weird to me, because, like, my childhood, it's not as hard as Liam's childhood. Like, it's been way easier, in fact. Like, we didn't have to work to do our food. We didn't have to work to get our food. We have all this new technology, cameras, everything. Phones even. We have phones. And, like, we have footballs, we have goals, we don't have to hunt for our food, we don't have to plant our food. Well, we do, some farmers do, but, like, children don't have to plant their food or hunt for anything, or earn money or anything, or you can only get a job when you're like 18, and you started working like when you were 10. It feels like it's crazy. Like, and the holidays he had, that would be like a nightmare for me.
Would be a nightmare, right? Yeah.
And the holidays that we have are wonderful, and like, you go to swimming pools, you have like a great time. You go to England, you go to Portugal, you go to Spain, you go to France, you go to America, you go to Australia, you even go to like Antarctica if you want.
When we were kids, we had no football. And what we used to do, we'd be coming home from school, and there was a butcher shop right in the centre of the town. And we'd watch out to see were they killing any of the cattle. And if they were killing a cow or a bullock or anything, we'd stand there looking in at the butcher. Now, we knew the butcher fairly well. And we'd wait there until he killed the cow or the butcher or the bullock or whatever it was. And we'd wait and we'd wait and we'd wait. We'd watch him killing them and cutting them up. And then he'd give us the bladder of the cow. And we'd bring the bladder home, the cow, and we'd let it dry for a few days. And then we'd pump it up and make a football out of it and tie it. And we used to kick football with the bladder around the yoke. And it wouldn't last no day because it was like a balloon. It pumps you very easy. But that's what we used to use for a football. But I remember I was in bed one night. I was around 13 and a half, 14. And I heard my mother and father talking. And I could hear them saying, well, that'd be a nice little job for Liam. And of course, my ears went up and I kept listening, but I couldn't really hear what they were saying. But the next morning, my father and mother called me and said, there's a job going in the post office. And you're to go down and do an interview for a telegram boy. Now, at that time, a telegram, if you wanted to get a message from England or America home, or to send it to America, you had to go to the post office, write out your message, pay for it. You paid so much for every word. And then the post office would send it to the post office in America, and there'd be a telegram boy there. He'd go out and deliver it to your house. So I got the telegram boy job delivering telegrams all around Clara. And I had to have my own bike. But it was a great job. I really enjoyed it because you were going around, you were meeting a lot of people. And you were delivering telegrams here and telegrams there and telegrams everywhere else. And most of the time you got tips. But that time I started that job, it was 32 shillings a week. Now that would be, I suppose, about 160 now in cents, or maybe two euro. But I used to deliver money telegrams then. There was an awful lot of people working in England at that time. And they'd send home what they call money telegrams to the wives at home for the support the wives and children. And I used to deliver an awful lot of them. Now, a money telegram was that they'd go into the post office in England, or mostly England, and they'd lodge so much money there. The post office in England then would send a telegram or a message to the Clara post office, and they'd write out a telegram saying, pay such a person so much money. And they'd go down to the post office with the telegram and hand it in, and the post office would give them the money. But what I used to love about was, you'd be off out the country everywhere, going places, and if you went 1 mile with a telegram, you had to get 3p for delivery for the post office. If you went 2 miles, you had to get 6p, and if you went 3 miles, you had to get 9p. And the Clara post office area was 3 miles circumference round about. So everywhere you went, you had to get to. Some people wouldn't want to pay you, think that you were getting it for yourself. But I really enjoyed the telegram job. There's none of that now at all, of course, that's all finished.